Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Board of Selectmen. If you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, it's a pleasure to have everyone here. Welcome to our new main meeting room. You may have noticed some changes. I'd like to recognize Tom Roy, Director of Public Works, who did all of the improvements, supervised them. We'll get to public audience in just a second. I'd like to recognize Dennis Jacobs, Jeff Giddings, Joyce Howard, who worked on this. Of course, the Public Works staff. I see Mark here. Thank you for that. And I'd also like to thank Mary Glassman, who started this project before she left. This was a project she began and helped plan for and helped design. So with that, we'll begin with public audience. If folks would like to speak, we'll start over here and go this way. Nick.
Thank you. Nick Mason, 6 Errands Way in Simsbury. I'm not here representing the Board of Finance tonight. And Joan, I want to say, for years, I have wanted to beat you to the podium.
Thank you.
Nick,
and you know something? I love when you come with that big smile and start talking. We always like to have you here.
I'm here tonight to represent the Simsbury Chamber of Commerce. And they would like to remind you of a number of items that are going on in the town. One of them is that the Chamber is looking to move its home office from down in the basement of the Free Public Library to some other space. And there is a project that they're looking into called the Town Hub, which they are doing with such organizations as the Historical Society, the Tourism Committee, the Free Bike Committee, the Land Trust, and Main Street to possibly do that. So that is one project that is going on. They've held a preliminary meeting, and they're looking for space, and they're trying to figure out the budget needs and so forth. Secondly, Good Morning Simsbury, which is a morning networking meeting that you can avail yourself of, will be held on, I can't read this, February 25th, 2 days from now, at 8 a.m. at the Simsbury 1820 House. And in addition to that, the Chamber does an after-hours meeting, which I think a number of you have all attended from time to time. It will be at the Virginia Connolly residence on March 18th. It is being hosted by Ed LaMontagne, who is here, and the Simsbury Housing Authority. And it is held from 5:30 to 7:30 in the evening. With a speaker typically beforehand at either 4:30 or 5 o'clock. I don't think they've announced that at this point. The Chamber is also excited to announce, and I'm trying to figure out how they're going to pull this one off, a new townwide event to be held on Saturday, October 31st, 2015. That's Halloween, and it will be a Halloween celebration and a chili cook-off. And I haven't quite figured out how they're going to bypass the candy thing. So those are some of the things that are coming up. In addition, the Chamber has a new website, which will be debuting on March 9th. And I believe you can find that at www.simsburycoc for the Chamber of Commerce.org. And thank you.
Thank you, Nick. We'll keep going from this direction.
No, it's not my turn yet.
We'll go from this way.
Don't rush it.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak? Joan.
Joan Cove, 26 Whitcomb Drive. Tonight our meeting is in our newly renovated meeting room with new technology and laptop computers for selectmen. It appears that the dais is moved forward, leaving less space for the public. I would like to know the cost of this renovation and materials, costs associated with staff, and cost of computers and materials associated with the completed renovation. Does the town have a line item cost for all the materials and staff associated with the renovation? Have all these expenditures been approved by taxpayers? Since the town has moved toward more interaction with computers, has the town protected the public and the town with cyber security? what is presently in place. As you know, I am running for first selectman with a platform of convening a charter revision commission to place a town manager in the town charter. Once this is accomplished, the town can vote for or against the charter. Once approved, the town will advertise for a professional town manager, and the first selectman could become the mayor of the council without pay. It appears that this board is divided on this issue. There is no need for meetings on this issue, since the town manager issue has been on the landscape for over 30 years. It appears the Republicans on this board do not want a professional town manager. Chris Kelly is leaning towards a town manager, and First Selectman Lisa Huebner can't make a decision on any policy without having meetings with lengthy discussions without any consensus. First Selectman Lisa Huebner has not shown any leadership ability since she is afraid to offend anybody, therefore no position. That shows lack of leadership. If I am elected as First Selectman, the public will know my positions in all public policy issues. Before we have all these do-nothing meetings asking for public input, the public would like to know what position this board has on the town manager issue. What are your positions? I would like to know why First Selectman Lisa Huebner has instituted a herding policy, taking her staff to many meetings outside of town hall. Staff accompanied her to the Malloy inauguration. Was that necessary? First Selectman Lisa Huebner herded her staff to the CLMP office to lobby them to stay in Simsbury when the company has been downsizing as a cost-effective action. Herding her staff will not change their minds. First Selectman Lisa Huebner herded her staff to the Department of Transportation when the issue of the senior center on the DOT site was proposed. The senior center will not be built on the DOT site. Will First Selectman Lisa Huebner herd her staff to the Hartford when her husband, who is the senior vice president, to propose keeping the building in Simsbury when the stockholders make that decision? Even her husband, as senior vice president, does not have that authority. The appropriate place for the senior center is Eno Hall. Removing SCTV from Eno Hall will increase 1,600 square feet of space for programs. First Selectman Lisa Huebner does not want to renovate Eno Hall, but can't take a position on the other sites. The presentation from the architect reminds me of the presentation from the architect presenting $110 million for the new high school. Do we need a 22,000 square foot building when Eno Hall, with renovations, will satisfy the senior needs? Do the seniors need a spa with a beauty salon incorporated in the new building? Someone has to rein in the architect's projected cost for renovation, since his presentation of increasing the cost of the project is self-serving. The more increase in cost, the more revenue for the architect. Maybe we should hire another architect that is more sympathetic to the financial impact of the renovations. This cost of the project should be deferred for at least a year, since this board has not decided on the scope of the project and the costs associated with the senior center. More work has to be done. It would be irresponsible to place $5 to $8 million in the capital budget without any consensus or placement or costs. This board should be fiscally responsible with the public's money, defer the project for a year. Why is there $50,000 shortfall for the generation of Carrollville School and Simsbury High School? Why is this a low priority item? At the last Board of Selectmen meeting, First Selectman Lisa Huebner stated that the snow policy for the town is the same as the governor's policy in closing town hall. That is totally absurd, because the valley has a different weather pattern than Hartford. I would like to have the town adopt a snow threshold policy for Simsbury employees, town hall, and meeting schedules during and after snowstorms. According to town staff, the grand list has increased 0.76%, increasing the revenue approximately $700,000. I have filed a complaint against the Town Freedom of Information Commission to decide whether the Board of Selectmen violated the Freedom of Information Act when going into executive session to discuss public safety issue impacting the town. And all of my comments will be on www.simsbury.com and also on the Simsbury patch and Simsbury.com forum topics for all of you to read and review. And thank you for listening.
You're welcome. Thank you. Ms. Coe, my name is Hevner, just so that you have that in the future. That's okay.
I will
On
try
to
my
public
best.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I appreciate that.
Mr. Kalishman?
Are you two finished?
Mr. Kalishman, would you like to speak?
Yes, I would. Robert Kalishman, Simsbury. I don't know if this has been done before, but I'm going to make a precedent if it hasn't. And I've been following the situation in the Middle East and the murdering and beheading that's going on, and the murdering of Jews once again, and it seems to be its open season on Christians. And if I ride down Hot Meadow Street, I see, I won't count the houses of worship, but there's a Jewish house and Catholic and various Protestant denominations. And I've yet to hear anything out of any of them regarding what's going on with the United States and the Middle East. It's wrong to murder people. And we've been letting it go on, and there's been excuse after excuse after excuse coming out of the Democratic White House. There's been excuse after excuse coming out of the both Democratic senators. There's been excuse coming out of 5 representatives who happen to be all Democratic in the Connecticut congressional delegation. Excuse after excuse after excuse. And we still have the murdering going on, and nobody's doing anything about it. And now the rocket scientists are all getting their head together and coming up with an ethnic solution for the Ukraine. And you might as well get it in your head. The Black Sea is a Russian lake. They're not going to give it up. John Paul Jones set that up. He was an American, but he set it up for him. The Russians aren't going to give it up. So, and we can't even take care of a bunch of Arabs wrapped in sheets sitting on top of a mountain. We're going to go after the Russian army? What's wrong with this country? Now let me get back to my address. Joan and the others, there's light at the end of the tunnel. The United States Attorney's Office in New Haven announced that they now have a Department of Corruptions. And they've been on it, I guess, but now they've announced that they're available. You have a United States attorney that will only handle corruption cases in Connecticut. And where they should start, they started already, is the 5th District. We happen to be the 5th Congressional District. And we have quite a reputation as far as politics go. And I go back before Colonial Realty. Colonial Realty, I don't know who remembers it, but they were an outfit from New Britain. There was a judge, one of them was related to a judge, and it really went down. And then, what did we have? We had the John Rowland fiasco, the Waterbury fiasco, and now we have the Simsbury fiasco with Miss Lucia Wilson Foley. We have the fiasco with the others, the Donovan, right, from Meriden. That's the 5th District. That case has never been, everybody went to jail except Donovan. And, but you now have, if you have any complaints about the corruption in Simsbury or Connecticut or the 5th Congressional District, you can go to New Haven. The United States Attorney's Office has a special attorney to handle it. Her name is Daly, Miss Daly, and she'll handle it. She comes from a good family, incidentally. Just let me get my thoughts together. Oh, Tom, I bumped into a few people, and a few people called me. They said that the plows were out late in West Simsbury, and I guess they work in retail, and they have to get to their stores early. So the roads were rough, were not plowed early enough for them. I don't know what time they go, but evidently your plows weren't out early enough. These were people that had called. And the only other thing I can add Well, there's a couple other things.
Mr.
I want to-
Kalishman, it's been 5 minutes.
I'm
Could you
gonna
please
close with
finish?
this Because it's important. I'll have to skip a lot, but I only have 5 minutes, and you really cut me off. You're coming up with, it's budget time, and we're going to do a police budget. And this time, I think you ought to use your common sense and your concern for public safety and add 2 public
Thank you, Mr.
policemen
Kalishman.
in view of the fact
I appreciate
that there
your
was
comments.
a murder in town that you don't want to publicize.
Very
I
much
can
appreciate
understand
your
that.
comments. Thank
But I
you.
think you
Is
ought
there
to
anyone
come up-
else who would like to speak at public audience? Sue?
You're not very courteous.
She's definitely out of line.
She thinks she's a big shot. She's married to the
definitely
big
out of
shot
line.
She has a lawyer from Hartford.
Could we please have order in the meeting room? Thank you.
Tarzik, 119 East Park Street. I'm not here to talk about land use tonight. I'm going to talk about the senior center, and I'm going to go home and warm up and come back when I defrost for the next meeting. So there's a way to solve the senior center problem. If we take the Gerston property, I've said this before, but I think that it's practical. If we take the Gerston property in Terriffill, which totally connects with the Metacama Trail, which is all state-owned property, and we land swap it for the DOT land, we come up with a solution for the senior center. Then we have to figure out how to pay for the senior center, and there are opportunities for grants and various things with that. But there's a huge chunk of it taken if you're able to take and swap one piece, the Gerston property for the DOT land. And I really think the state would be interested in it, because I don't know, at this point, why we would want to even own part of the Metacomet Trail, because you have to take care of it. And the state really has all of that. So I definitely think that that's a solution to the problem, and then we deal with the cost of the building. So anyway, that's the situation. And I'm not afraid to offend anybody, so maybe I should run for first selectman too.
Thank you, Sue. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak at public audience? The rules we adopted in December 2013 provide for 5 minutes of public audience. Is there any member of this board who would like to amend the agenda to consider extending public audience beyond 5 minutes? Okay, seeing none, those were the rules we adopted, and those are the rules. As chair, it's my charge to carry out.
The resolution has to be posted on the wall.
It's there.
Is it posted there?
Thank you. We'll go on to first selectmen's report, presentations. Yay. We'll start with
Where is
Mr.
it?
Roy, the main meeting room.
Oh, it's not.
Excuse me, you're out of order, Mr. Kalishman. We're on to presentations. Thank you.
These yours?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
I still can't see the poster.
All right, well, we're here, I think, just for start off with something happy, which is that we just completed this
behind the
project.
door.
I think it was really important to get the meeting room updated. It hadn't been updated since, I think, 1983 or 1984. It certainly had seen its many years of service to the town, and it was time for something new, especially for the place where we conduct the predominant amount of town business. Very happy that as you went through some of the people that helped us, Joyce Howard couldn't be here. She's fortunate enough to be vacationing on the island. Once in a while I get a few emails from her. She's asking what snow looks like. I've sent her a few pictures so she won't forget. We had talked about maybe having a meeting down there with her. Thought that would be pretty tough to get through the budget process. I know we're watching closely. But all kidding aside, we looked at an enormous number of options of what we could do with this space and what we could do with this room. Unfortunately, on either side of us, we have load-bearing walls that they're required. If not, the Board of Ed comes down. We looked at whether or not we could put the First Selectman's table this way and extend the room using a little bit more of the length. We had issues with egress. So there was a lot of effort into coming up with what we did. Definitely want to thank Dennis Jacobs. He was really right there with Joyce with every step of the way it's designed. When you look at the desk, in many ways you might see that it does resemble a modern kitchen island. That's what Dennis does. Dennis is just incredibly particular when it comes to details. Every measurement down to the smallest detail. He helped with bringing in Jeff Giddings, again, another town resident who did all of the trim carpentry. We have Steve Letourneau here. He did all of the painting for us. We had Mark Rustick, one of the town staff, who kind of coordinated the town efforts in this project, and it was really great to see everybody work together and come up with a very effective solution, which is going to serve us well for the next number of years. So,
Thank you, Tom. Do you want to invite Dennis up?
I think Dennis should come up and explain a little bit about how he came up with the final product, because
I don't know if you want to know that. A lot of smoke and mirrors. Thank you, Tom.
Come on up, Jim.
Behind the door. Behind the door, can't see it.
I'm just really thankful to be in a community that we have a business, and I live in this community, and that we were able to participate, be one of the participants in putting this room together, to be able to, because I do cabinetry, and that is what we do, to be able to put together the Selectmen's bench was an honor to be able to do that. Podium, and of course, a place for you to sit. So you're not in the back of the Also working with Jeff. This was, Jeff and I have known each other for a long time, and great carpenter and good friend, so bringing him into the party was also fun. So, thanks, I appreciate being here.
Thank you.
Painting work and Mark,
Take a picture of them together.
Yeah, can we get it? Sloan, can you get a picture of everyone who did this?
Come on.
Sorry.
Picture?
Yeah, I want to thank everybody, and especially the contractors that we hired to do this project. It was most important. They worked very well with the town, with Tom Roy and myself, and it was hard to coordinate this project, and it was hard to keep the town staff out of the room that we needed to. But, it was very important. My staff did a lot of the simple things around the room, but most importantly, the painters, the carpet layers, the cabinetry persons that did the work for us, the curtain people, and it looks gorgeous. And that's really all I want to say. And I thank Tom Roy for basically coordinating everything with everyone, even though he pushed me.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Stay for a picture, Mark, so that we can get a picture with Sloan.
Mark.
Come back to the light.
Why doesn't everyone get a picture there with Sloan? No, get in with the guys. There you go. There we go.
No, hold on 1 second, I don't have any pictures.
Keep the legs so I can get one too. There we
Yeah.
go.
I'm sorry.
We'll get Tom to email you his picture.
All right, that worked.
All right.
Smile.
The battery's dead.
All right, Tom, it's all you.
This is no
Nothing like being prepared for work.
It's still beeping, is that a good thing?
Let's give them a big round of applause.
I almost forgot the one detail that we had to keep throughout all this, with this having once been a classroom. The chalk tray remains.
That's
All
right.
right.
Yeah.
That's the nostalgia right there.
Yes, thank you. And now, Tom, thank you again for all your work and your team's work. They did a great job. And we are now on to the snow budget status update.
It was so fun, wasn't it?
Now the good news is over.
Well, long and short, I think there is some good news. It's clearly been a very busy winter for us. It's been a difficult winter in terms of the types of snowstorms we've had. Some very long duration snowstorms, and they have fallen so many times on the weekends. Based upon the fact that a lot of them have occurred on the weekends, we've seen an increase in our labor costs. And because of the fact that some of the storms have occurred when it has been so incredibly cold outside, we've actually had to use a little bit more salt, and it's been a little bit more time and effort into cleaning up the snow at the end of the storm. It's just kind of the winter we're having. The only positive I can really tell you is thank God we're not Boston. There's always somebody worse off than we are. At this point, we are about $23,000 over our overtime budget for the highway department and just a little over $5,000 above our salt budget. We've continued to respond to all winter weather with an eye on safety first. We do it in a fiscally conservative and responsible manner, but safety is our predominant goal. We've been fortunate this year and we've diversified our salt supplies, and that has helped us stave off some shortages. We unfortunately are still somewhat vulnerable because even though we are buying salt from multiple suppliers, they are all using the same shipping terminal. We did get a notice just the other day that the treated salt that we have used for so many years may be unavailable for the next several weeks. We have a supply of white salt, so we're going to have to adjust our operations. We've also been using a liquid product this year in conjunction with our salt, so we're attacking it from every angle we can, but it certainly has just been a tough winter for the entire region. So what we'd like to do is to continue following the same practice and procedures we have. Hopefully when spring gets here sometime soon, we'll come back to you with a final tally of where we came in terms of our budget and make recommendations to go forward at that point.
Thank you. And Tom, when you set your budgets, you do it on a 5-year average, so you do have a formula that you use.
We use a combination which is somewhat modified. It's a 5-year rolling average that we've also combined with a historical average of the man hours. So we're adjusting it not just for the 5-year average, but also for any increase in our staffing costs. But basically, we're looking at about 5,000 man hours, and we've exceeded that at this point. One interesting thing to note, I have just a quick charts and graphs for everybody, but we've been kind of tracking, just on this simple chart, some of the store-by-storm costs. And the red and the blue lines are the salt versus the labor. And the only reason I show you this is just the most interesting storm, the most expensive storm, is probably not the one you think it is. It was that long-forgotten ice event that happened on Martin Luther King Day weekend. That was nearly double the cost of any other storm that we had this year. And it mattered just, a few miles. My house in Farmington, we were getting rain. I drove over here, and it was absolutely pouring rain, and it was slippery. It was pouring rain, and we were putting salt down, and it was washing away. And we struggled with it for a day and a half. I mean, it was a really long event. But you can go see that it's not always just the volume of snow, but it's how it comes down. And in that case, it happened to be at a Sunday and a holiday rate. So.
As they all are. Thank you, Tom. We appreciate your efforts, and I'd like to thank the residents of Simsbury who have helped make your job easier by complying with the parking bans when they've been up, and with those who have helped clear fire hydrants. So we do ask for continued help in clearing fire hydrants.
Yeah, as you've seen, the snow is piling up, and just recently we saw the littlest bit of melting, but it certainly is tough out there. So.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
With that, I'll go on to my first Selectmen's report. I would like to invite Simsbury residents and business owners to come to an open house on March 2nd, 2015, beginning at 4 p.m. in my office to share your thoughts and suggestions as I begin my third month in office. Your input is important to me as the Board of Selectmen begins the process of reviewing the proposed budget. So please drop in on Monday, March 2nd, and if you don't have any comments, you're welcome to just share a cookie and have a glass of water. The Senior Center offers tax assistance through April 9th. I wanted to make our residents aware of that. It is tax return preparation time, and once again, our Senior Center is offering assistance to seniors through the AARP Tax Aid Program. Trained volunteers will prepare and electronically file both federal and state tax returns free of charge. The program is being hosted at the Simsbury Library in Program Room 2. Appointments are available on Tuesdays and Thursdays through April 9th between the hours of 10 and 3 p.m. Please contact the Senior Center if you'd like to make an appointment. Budget information is available on our town website. Information about the town's 2015-2016 budget will be made available on the town's website beginning today. You will find a calendar of the town's scheduled budget workshops on the budget page, and information will be added as we move forward in the process, beginning with the presentation of my budget to the Board of Selectmen on February 26th. Town staff and I have been working hard to fashion a budget which continues to deliver excellent services efficiently. And I would like to thank them for their efforts and their commitment to the town of Simsbury. It's always difficult during the budget process. We look and try and accommodate as many requests as we can, but as always, we look to town needs, wants, and shoulds. And those are the conversations we'll be having with this board, and I look forward to that. You can find the link on our town website, which is at www.simsburyct.gov. And with that, we will begin Selectmen actions. Our first item before the board for action tonight is to approve tax refunds in the amount of $1,977.11. Can I have a motion to approve tax refunds in that amount?
So moved?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
The second item is to approve and read a proclamation marking April 2015 as Fair Housing Month. I see Ed LaMontagne here from the Housing Authority, and he's also chairman of the Aging and Disability Committee. This is a request brought to us by Ed, who is the executive director of the Housing Authority. 2015 marks the 47th anniversary of the passage of the Federal Fair Housing Act. The Housing Authority has made the request that this board recognize the milestone, declaring the month of April 2015 as Fair Housing Month. Can I please have a motion to declare April as Fair Housing Month and have a member read the proclamation? Chris?
So moved.
Oh.
Well, as the liaison to the Simsbury Housing
May I
Authority.
have a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
I'm happy to do it.
Cheryl?
I gotta move my microphone. Proclamation. Whereas the year 2015 marks the 47th anniversary of the passage of the Federal Fair Housing Act, Title VIII of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, as amended, and whereas this law guarantees that housing throughout the United States should be made available to all citizens without regard to race, color, religion, sex, family status, disability, or national origin, and whereas equality of opportunity for all is a fundamental policy of this nation, state, and city, and whereas barriers which diminish the rights and limit the options of any citizen will ultimately diminish the rights of all citizens, and whereas the cooperation, commitment, and support of all residents of the town of Simsbury is necessary to removing barriers to the enjoyment of living where one chooses within one's means. Now therefore, I, Lisa L. Hevner, First Selectman of the town of Simsbury, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2015 as Fair Housing Month, and request and encourage every citizen and business of our community to support and endorse fair housing, to reaffirm their commitment to fair housing for all, and wholeheartedly recognize these rights and responsibilities throughout the year. In witness whereof, I have placed my seal and the Great Seal of the town of Simsbury, dated the 23rd day of February, 2015, Lisa L. Hevner, First Selectman.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to declare April as Fair Housing Month. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Moving on to action item number C, approve the Town of Simsbury Fair Housing Resolution and Equal Opportunity Policies. In connection with the Town of Simsbury's anticipated application for a 2015 Small Cities Grant, and in recognition of April as Fair Housing Month, this board is being requested to take two actions. One, to adopt, and two, to authorize the First Selectman to execute and reissue the following policies prohibiting discriminatory practices and provide procedures for enforcement. Those are Fair Housing Resolution, Fair Housing Policy Statement, Title VI Equal Opportunity Statement, Affirmative Action Policy Statement, the ADA Notice, Municipal Grievance Procedure. As the board is aware, the Town of Simsbury and the Housing Authority are working with Wagner and Associates to prepare and submit an application for a Small Cities Grant to fund and repair the roof and roads at the Housing Authority in Simsbury. The Town of Simsbury has reviewed and is reissuing to this board policies designed to protect against discrimination. All these policies are currently in effect in Simsbury, and reissuance just ensures that the policies are up to date and meet the requirements of the Small Cities Grant application. In connection with these activities, the Town of Simsbury will also send letters to local lenders and realtors seeking information concerning any activities to promote fair housing. May at this point please have a motion to adopt and authorize the first selectman to execute and reissue the following policies prohibiting discriminatory practices and which provide procedures for enforcement for the following: Fair Housing Resolution, Fair Housing Policy Statement, Title VI Equal Opportunity Statement, Affirmative Action Policy Statement, ADA Notice, and Municipal Grievance.
Move that.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on to action item D, we will set a public hearing date of March 23rd, 2015, for discussion of the 2015 Small Cities Program application. We are making this request to hold the public hearing on March 23rd, 2015 at 6 p.m. to solicit citizen input on the proposed application for a small cities grant in the amount of $800,000 for renovations at the Virginia Connolly residence, Dr. Owen Murphy Apartments of the Simsbury Housing Authority. The hearing is required as part of the process of the application. May I have a motion to set March 23rd, 2015 at 6 p.m. is a public hearing to solicit citizen input on the proposed application for a small cities grant in the amount of $800,000 for renovations at the Simsbury Housing Authority as detailed in your packet.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, sorry.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on to action item E. There is a request submitted by Hiram Peck, who could not be here tonight. I did check with Mr. Peck if this board has questions for him and is not ready to act tonight. We can put this off to another meeting, but I'll go through the proposal, and then you can make your decision after that. We have before you a request to receive some open space at the Regan Development at Dorset Crossing. The property is located in a flood zone and is not being used for construction. Without the donation, the company would be required to secure additional flood insurance for the whole property. The proposed donated portion is directly adjacent to land currently designed for open space as part of the Dorset Crossing development. The property owner, Regan Development, has requested the town accept .36 acres as an addition to the existing open space in the Dorset Crossing development. The exact location of the property is included in your packet.
I was going to say, it's the shaded area, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Your packet says July 14th, but it's actually the July 22nd minutes, which you should have copies of. From the Planning Commission recommends acceptance of open space as proposed. We did receive an email from council earlier today, and he requested that we read the motion by the Planning Commission, so I will do that into the minutes. And so those must be recorded in the minutes, Kathy. Thank you. Chairman Jansen of the Planning Commission made a motion to give a positive referral to the Board of Selectmen. Commissioner Rice seconded the motion. The commissioners commented that this referral is compliant with the POCD goal that the town acquire and preserve open space. The motion was passed unanimously. For us to accept this property, we did need to have a report from the Planning Commission. Council did confirm that the minutes satisfied the report requirement, which is why I read it into the minutes. In October 2014, the Open Space Committee recommended acceptance of the open space with a donation check to the town for maintenance purposes. We have in our receipt a check from Dorset Crossing for $1,000. December 26, 2014, the assessor provided a value of $1,440 for the open space parcel. That's the value which you have again in your packets. On December 19, 2014, the town attorney outlined the process for this request and indicates that title issues are now under review by his office. In January 15, 2015, the town engineer provided a report that the parcel is acceptable based on the environmental report submitted by the applicant. And today we are being asked to determine the acceptability of the donation. Are there any questions before I ask for a motion? This has come before this board in the past, so this is a second hearing of it. It appears that all the requirements of town council, we did confirm that today. He felt that this was ready for board decision.
Not a question, but I guess just if this moves forward, this be added to the open space inventory that they're looking at. And,
Absolutely.
it was, I think, very nice that they made the donation towards the maintenance of the property. And I think that speaks to the initiative that we're trying to undertake to really inventory everything that we have, understand the cost associated with maintaining it. And so that would just be the request.
Yes, thank you. And the donor did find that there is no maintenance, ongoing maintenance, and this was confirmed with Jerry Toner. So they didn't feel there would be ongoing maintenance, but this donation will go into our open space funds to help provide for stewardship in general. So with that, may I have a motion to accept the .36 acre of open space from Regan Development at Dorset Crossing, subject to council's review?
So moved.
May I have a second?
I'll second it, I guess. I got beat to it.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on to other business. Before you, you have a submission that requires no action from the town clerk. This is a notification of the number of voting tabulators. The tabulators are the machines when you go to vote that you stick in the ballot and it takes it in. Simsbury, the town clerk has determined that Simsbury has a sufficient number of voting tabulators for the 4 voting districts. This reporting is required by Connecticut General Statutes 9-238 and 92-238A. Does anyone have any comments or questions on that?
Good thing they can figure this out.
Okay, so moving on to that, we have a schedule.
We're not there. Right.
Moving on from that, we have your schedule for budget meetings and workshops. You can see which department will be presenting when. The first presentation is by me on February 26th at 5:30 p.m., where I will present to you the first Selectmen's budget. And that will be the document we will work from as you make your recommendations, and we'll change and alter. And listen to department heads through Thursday evening, March 5th, beginning at 5:30, and Saturday, March 7th, 8, which is on the weekend from 8 to 4, trying to get everyone on. Tuesday, March 10th through March 12th at 5:30 p.m. will also be available if the Board of Selectmen feels it needs additional meetings at that time. And of course, if that is not enough, we can add more. Does anyone have any questions on that? Yeah, Sean?
Just a quick one. When is the Board of Ed presenting their side of the capital to us?
This is a new one.
That's a good question, Ron. I don't have
We'll make sure that gets in there.
Yeah, because technically the capital
Yeah.
is good for us. Okay.
We will get that.
And then I assume there's enough time built into this for planning to get the capital schedule as well? Because
What do you mean, the planning?
planning
commission.
commission has to sign off on the CNR, or excuse me, CIP.
CIP.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Lisa,
Yes.
I believe the Board of Ed is presenting to the Board of Finance on March 11th.
Yep.
6 p.m. at the amphitheater at the high school. And I think we have you scheduled for, was it March 31st?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is on our website. We do have the full calendar on our website. These are just the budget workshop dates, so you're right. Thank you, Nick. Okay. Then,
Thank you.
there's no action required on that. Moving on, we'll go to appointments and resignations. We have before you a request to appoint Kevin Kowalski as Director of Civil Preparedness effective December 2nd, 2013, with an expiration date of December 7th, 2015. It came to our attention that this was never actually done. He has been certainly acting in that capacity for many years, so we are just correcting that appointment. May I have a motion to approve Kevin Kowalski as Director of Civil Preparedness?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We have before us a motion to appoint Michael Berry as Assistant Director of Civil Preparedness effective December 2nd, 2013, with an expiration date of December 7th, 2015. Again, the same situation. May I have a motion?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Lisa, I just have a quick question. Wasn't Jeff Giddings, you said?
He was, he stepped
was,
down.
he stepped
Michael,
down.
Michael's filling in
Alright.
from,
Yeah.
and with our thanks to Jeff Gidding.
Okay. Just want to make sure we weren't bumping
No,
Jeff.
no, no. No.
He's busy with carpentry work.
We have before us a motion to appoint Tom Frank, Democrat, as a regular member of the Board of Education with an expiration date of December 4th, 2017. I'd like to introduce Tom Frank, who is sitting in the front row. Tom, thank you for your willingness to serve.
No, we didn't vote on the last one.
Well, then, let's go ahead and do
Sorry.
that.
I asked the question.
Did we have a first and a second?
Oh, we did have a first and a second.
I have a
yes.
vote to appoint Michael Berry. All in favor, please say.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Sorry.
Going on to a motion to appoint Tom Frank as a regular member of the Board of Education. Again, Tom, welcome tonight. We look forward to your service, and thank you for your willing to participate in local government. May I have a motion to appoint Tom Frank as a regular member of the Board of Education with an expiration date of December 4th, 2017?
Move that.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations,
With
Tom.
our thanks.
Thank you, Tom.
You have before you a motion to accept the resignation of Claudia Zarakowski, a Democrat, as a regular member of the Recycling Committee effective February 2, 2015. May I have a motion to accept the resignation?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
You have before you a motion to accept the resignation of Claudia Zarakowski, Democrat, as a regular member of the Clean Energy Task Force effective February 2nd, 2015. May I have a motion, please?
So moved. Got me
Second, I
again.
can have it.
I'll second it.
Okay, second by Mike Payne. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
You have before you 2 minutes. Per the new procedures, we do not need to take any action unless somebody would like to move to amend the minutes as written. Is there anyone who would like, it's fine to do that.
I was just going to say, I have, well, do we want to make a motion and then we'll, or no, we don't make, pardon me.
Make a motion to amend.
I'll make a motion to amend February 9th meeting. This just seems a little bit silly, but on page 4, under the Aging and Disability Commission, it says Miss Nancy made a motion. And being that we're not from the South, I just thought you could make that Miss Ossie.
Where is that on this page 4? You got it?
Yeah.
Can we also amend page 4 where it says Miss Askham seconded the motion?
That's Southern too.
No. I think I'll object to that one.
It's at the top.
Okay.
Ms. Askham.
I will take this moment to point out that before my name tag was placed up there, the first name tag that came into Town Hall said Miss Heavier. So while
Well, that is not.
are there any other, while we have the motion to amend, are there any other motions to amend?
On page 7 of 8, we have another Ms. Askham.
Well, that's a different minute, so.
Other
Is
minutes.
that a different one?
Yeah.
I apologize.
Okay, so this is for the
Feb. 9?
February 9th.
Yeah, sorry, I
meeting. So we-
skipped.
That's okay. So we had a motion to amend the regular meeting of February 9th, 2015 with the 2 changes as described. May I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say
Aye.
Aye.
We have before you also the special meeting of January 29th, 2015. We need not take any action unless there is a motion to amend to find corrections.
I would make a motion to amend page 7 of 8, when we adjourn from executive session, that individual, Ms. Askham, made a motion to get us out of that.
Unfortunate trend in the minutes.
I do have a purple shirt on.
And you wear it much better than I would.
I know you got a pink shirt on. for this one, so
Okay,
it's
we're
all good.
devolving, okay. We have a motion to amend with that one correction. Are there any other corrections? May I have a second to amend the motion as described by Mr. Payne?
I'll second that.
I bet you do.
Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes unanimously. Then we will go on to personnel and our Selectmen liaison and subcommittee reports. I'll begin with personnel.
Yep, thank you, Lisa.
You'll see before you that the Personnel Subcommittee, with the request for 2 hearings, the first on the first Selectman salary, we've identified holding that hearing on the evening of March 9th at 5:30 prior to the Board of Selectmen meeting. And then the second is public input on the first Selectman, or the form of government and Charter Revision Commission, which we have scheduled for March 23rd at 5:30 prior to the Board of Selectmen meeting. And our thought was that at the Board of Selectmen meeting, after that hearing, we could have an initial conversation on thoughts and reactions relative to the Charter Revision Commission.
Thank you.
We had just set the small cities, so this is going to say immediately following the small cities, which we just set for
Right.
6.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
just
so we'll
follow
need to
that. I
amend the
just-
timing on that, thank you.
Yeah, yep. And yes, and then the one for the Personnel Subcommittee says 5:30. I mean, it says 6 as well.
Thank you,
Yep.
yep.
Do you want them both at 5:30?
No, it would have to be,
No.
it would have to be at 6 following the Small Cities Grant.
Okay, they'll both be at 6.
So
Right.
the Small Cities Grant will start at 6 o'clock.
Right.
And immediately, once that hearing is concluded, the second hearing, just before the Personnel Subcommittee would commence. Once that concluded, we'd start the regular meeting, the Board of Selectmen. So there will be 2 hearings on the 23rd in that sequence, if that's all right with the board.
And Tom, you have the March 9th one at 6 o'clock too?
That's correct.
Okay.
March
Yeah.
9th, there's no conflict with the March 9th one. We originally had a budget workshop scheduled, but we believe we'll be able to make it through without having that as a budget.
And we do have extra dates after that so that we can accomplish everything we need. All right. Are there any other liaison or subcommittee reports?
Economic Development Task Force, their next meeting is tomorrow evening at 5 o'clock, and we're actually meeting in the library program room, so just wanted to make note of that. We usually meet in this building, so.
Thank you. Sean?
Procedurally, don't we need to vote to set the public hearings?
That would be helpful.
Good point. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just in the future, if you could submit a action item, we'll notice it.
I did in fact do that. It's my apology. I should have called your attention to it before we moved on to the next matter. It's under the...
So we have this sheet that you gave us, I'm sorry, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can make a formal motion if you want, Lisa.
Yes, that would be great.
Do you want to do one at a time?
Yes.
Okay. Setting of a motion to set a public hearing from Personnel Subcommittee relative to the first Selectman salary for March 9th, 2015 at 6 p.m.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We have the second motion, Chris.
Yep. A motion to set a public hearing for input on the first, for Charter Revision Commission and Town Form of Government on the evening of March 23rd at 6 p.m.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second, can
Any
I just amend
further-
that to say a friendly amendment to immediately follow the prior public hearing?
Yeah.
Yes. Is that acceptable to you, Chris?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Okay. Sean, did you have an update?
No, that was it.
Oh, anyone else have an update? At this point, all right, I will take a motion to adjourn our meeting now.
Move that.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone.
Congratulations, Tom.
Holy
I
cow.
think it is.
I could have picked up Terry. I got all sorts of people.
Always.
I have work to do too, so I'm so excited to go home. Tomorrow.
Get the laptop back. Crank it back up.